Just got a text from Rob McElhenney saying that he's walking in. Well, the thing is we agreed to meet at 8:30 in the morning.
We did say it was going to be an 8:30 start, and
we said 8:30, right?
It's 8:33. I was here. I was here about 5 of.
And I would have been had I seen your cars and thought. By the way, did you drive a different? Are you driving a different car?
I'm still parking in the garage.
Oh, I was wondering where you were parking.
I don't know. I like then the car's not out in the hot sun all day, and
you don't want your car out in the hot sun.
I don't.
Well, I mean, buddy, you got a Tesla. You can.
Don't tell people what I have. I have a Toyota Corolla. I am a common man.
Yes.
And
you're keeping it real.
Yeah.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. So anyway, we're here. We're on time. This is the Always Sunny in Philadelphia podcast, and I gotta say, are you picking up on this? I feel like it's going a little bit better without Rob.
You know what?
I feel like it's a little bit.
Right now, it feels a little bit like that. That SNL.
Here he is.
Well, look at that. Rob McElhenney just rolls in whenever he wants to. What time is it?
It's 8:36.
Is it?
It's 8:36. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it would be because we've been here. I've been here for over 6 minutes, and
first time in the history of our relationship where I was late.
My God!
Something.
Wow! Yeah, we did say 8:30, did we not?
Boy, there was a real specific text chain. Like, we're going to start at 8:30. We'll go 8:30, 9:30, and make sure you watch the episode beforehand.
Yeah, I watched that in the car on the way here.
I did too.
That's safe.
And you know what?
Wait, what are you talking about?
It's really not safe. Well, I thought.
Yeah, it's not safe. What are you talking about?
I was eating my cereal and I was watching the show, and my car was driving for me.
No, I had it on. When I was at a stoplight, I would like look down and watch scene, and otherwise I was just listening to it, kind of remembering, which is a little bit of a disservice. But there was no time. There was no time to watch the episode between the last one and
what about last night? You couldn't watch it last night?
Today was the first day of fucking school, and I was with my kids last night.
I didn't say today.
I was
last
on
night.
Last night.
I was on dad duty last night, and then by the time I got that kid down, I was wiped.
Yeah.
Didn't have it in you to watch 20 minutes of It's Always Sunny
sure
in Philadelphia,
did it, pal.
but you're willing to do a podcast about it,
buddy.
I ask other people to watch it.
I'm not asking anyone to watch it. I'm asking them to listen to me talk about something that they've already watched. That's so years ago.
Years ago.
And by the way, listener, we have already established that Charlie Day has a Tesla. Sorry, buddy. Outed you. Mm-hmm. Rob's also got a Tesla.
I don't have what?
Rob's also got a Tesla.
Right. Now you're making stuff up.
Well, Charlie didn't want people to know that he has a Tesla. He wanted people to think he's driving a Toyota Corolla because he's still Jenny from the block.
Yeah, that's right.
Charlie from the block.
No, I mean I got a pickup truck.
Right.
Yeah.
An F-150. Yeah, that's what I've got.
Guys, you know what's funny? Disabilities.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the episode.
I thought it was great.
Let's do. You know, I
enjoyed it.
Yes. First of all, I think the best way to watch our show is in a car.
Do you guys remember, I don't remember if this is the first time. I mean, Rob, you were the one that actually went and pitched the show to Danny. You went alone. You went to his house and you pitched him the show. That might actually be an interesting story to tell. But I was going to say, I think the first time the three of us actually sat down with him was that lunch in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
It was an Italian restaurant.
It was an Italian place,
I remember, it was on Beverly Boulevard there.
Yeah.
Right near our management company's office, because that's where we were writing the show.
That's right. We didn't have offices yet. We hadn't figured out that we could ask for something like that.
Yeah, and
we sat down and we had lunch with Dan. It was a
very strange
lunch. Danny was lovely, but he also would go in and out of character, and we just didn't know. And we didn't know when he was. We didn't know when he was.
I think there's something I picked up, but like these guys that came up through that sort of 70s Hollywood into 80s Hollywood have a tendency to speak in non sequiturs.
Right.
which I think was more accepted then because like everything was like groovier. So it was like,
everything was everything.
Yeah,
was
like even conversations were like a suggestion of a conversation. So it was like,
right.
Hey man, like oh man, and all that, and then and then with the war, and then all that, and then the other guys like, yeah, no, I dig it, man. It's all part like. You at the time you were hanging out with Nicholson at the Lakers game, and he was just talking gibberish to you.
Oh wait, what's that story? I don't know that story.
Yeah,
this is the best. And this is let me tell it for you because this is why I love.
Oh, good. Charlie just wants to prove that he remembers the story.
That's true. I remembered this thing. This is what I love about Rob. Like I'm shy to the extent where I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, right?
Yeah.
And here you're was Danny at the game?
Oh yeah, that's how I met
you
Jack.
and Danny and Jack were at a Lakers game.
Well, I didn't go with Jack. I was with Danny.
Yeah.
But then Jack goes to all the games.
Yeah. Jack,
nobody goes.
Jack
with
has a
Jack
standing invitation, and so he's there, and he keeps turning to Rob, and he's spitting like gibberish at you. Like, give me some examples of.
Yeah, like first of all, it's Jack Nicholson, so you're like, oh, this will be cool. But I don't want to bother him.
Yeah,
but if
right.
he
You're
says something
polite.
to me, I'm gonna respond in kind, and he's very clearly a basketball fan.
Oh yeah.
And I was there enjoying the basketball game, and he said something, turned to me, and I was like, oh, he's gonna talk to me. This is cool.
Talk to me. Holy shit.
And
what's
he
it gonna
said
be?
something like 45 half, and then back to the quarter, and that'll be it.
45 half.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Huh?
What, man?
And he's like, I wish I remember the exact phrase because it was. In fact, I remember I texted it to you right after it happened, and I was like, "This is what the guy said to me."
It's in the cloud somewhere.
It's
We
in- well,
got to find it.
I think that was 6 phones ago.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's some way. It exists somewhere.
It's
the
somewhere.
NSA's looking at it. They've got it.
Gatesy got it.
Gatesy got it.
He's all over it. What's this text now?
Sometime up in the the half court there, and I was like, maybe I can't hear him correctly because it's loud. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
You said that to him.
Yes. And then he just laughed and like turned away. And I was like, well, Jack Nicholson, everybody.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I wanted to engage with him.
Yeah.
No.
I want
The
to
way
know.
you told it to me, and I respected it more in this version, was eventually you got frustrated and you were like, look, man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Which was the balls on you to do that. I would just
That's that Philly thing, man.
I
or
would
something.
be
I don't
so
know.
insecure around him, likely, that I'm just imagining that I would respond to him. I'd be like, absolutely, man.
Yeah, 45 half.
45 half?
And then some.
100%. And can you believe it?
Right. Just trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, I would take whatever I could out of it and just go with the flow.
But see, this is the.
I wanted to engage with him in a meaningful way.
I would engage in just the word I needed. 45. Absolutely. 45, man.
Well, this is the problem with somebody that is super has been super duper famous for a very long time. It is not required of them from the people that surround them to make sense, right? They can literally say and do whatever the fuck they want, and people will be like, "Yeah, Jack."
Being around
absolutely.
Danny was a good introduction for us to that. Where it's like sometimes he would say like a non sequitur on the set, and then people would like die laughing, and we'd be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" But like now, I don't know. Now I die laughing. I think that everything the guy says. But
I do think that's a symptom of being surrounded for so many years by people that just laugh at whatever you say, even if it doesn't make any sense and isn't funny at all, because you're Danny DeVito and nobody wants to ruffle your feathers and everybody wants to be in your good graces. So they're just like, they just laugh at your fucking nonsense, and to the point where you just start to go like, well, I guess everybody understands what's in my head. You just say whatever the fuck is in your head without. Possibly. It's like you say the middle.
But then there's also that 70s thing, man, of like, hey, like there was a lot of partying and life was loose, conversations were loose.
Cocaine brain.
And to bring it full circle back to the conversation, we had that breakfast with him or lunch. And it was conversations like, my dad used to keep a box of like watches and teeth. And, it could be like that. And
well, hold on a second. I just want to clarify. You're not just making something up right now. That was the conversation.
That's word for word.
He was saying that his grandfather kept a box of watches and teeth.
His father.
Oh, his father? I thought it was his grandfather. Okay, yeah.
Either way, a man in his life.
a man, an important man in his life, kept a box of watches and teeth and was telling us some kind of a story. And we were like, is he telling us a story as himself, or is he being frank right now?
It was very hard for us to tell if he was in character or if he, like...
He might have been in character that entire lunch, and I just did when we were like, I don't know.
But if you really stop down and look
Danny
at it...
there? Can we speak with Danny?
If you look at it, the show did become about a fucking lunatic who would have a bunch of watches and teeth in a box. And
so he was right.
He was spot on. Yeah.
It's funny to be talking to us like we're Milos Forman as opposed to three dudes making a dick and ball comedy at lunch in the middle of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to do this shit with us, man. Like, you know, we're not at the actor's studio. This is you don't have to be all fucking. You can just come in and kind of say your lines.
Once we got him, I went back and watched every single Danny DeVito thing that I could because I wanted to be like, what other ways is he funny? Like, we knew we were like, all right, we're not going to do like short jokes. It's lazy, you know. He doesn't want us. I mean, he didn't say that, but we didn't want to be doing like that kind of thing. So like, what are some things?
Well, it was
like there's some obvious ways. Funny,
it was
but
implied
like,
because you guys remember it was not that though. You remember where that came from, right?
Johnny Short Arms or
Frankie Short Arms.
Frankie Short Arms.
Right, but there was a guy named something Short Arms. It was like a
teamster in New York.
Yeah,
that like I remember I had him on the show Third Watch and he was driving me around. So
yeah, and he had like short arms.
So we thought it'd be funny. So when we were doing the gang or whatever the boxing episode, whatever the fighting episode, boxing episode is called, $100 Baby. We thought it'd be funny if Frank's nickname when he was back when he was young and he was a boxer was Frankie Short Arms. Mm-hmm. And he was, we were pitching this to him. We were like, you know, so and you were younger and you were like a boxer, you know, when you were younger and you had like a nickname like Frankie Short Arms. And he's like, yeah, not that though. And ever since then, like we
hung on to not that though.
Has become like an ongoing phrase. Like, you know, whenever somebody pitches something that we think is not that funny, we're like, yeah, not that though.
Having worked in a writer's room for so many years, specifically with you guys, and like, you know, only 30% of the time you're actually laughing at maybe something I pitch, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's good. But like 70% of the time you guys are just like, nah, not that though, or staring at me or whatever. And we all do that to one another.
Sure.
And then, you know, like
it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling, but it's like so important to the process, right? Yeah. So like 10 years the show's been on the air. And I remember being in a room over at Carousel, and you guys, for whatever reason, weren't there that morning or something. Mm-hmm. And there was a room full of writers, and Megan was there. And I remember I pitched something, and the whole room like erupted in laughter. And I look over, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that goes on the board. And I look over at Megan, she's not laughing. Uh-oh.
And I just looked at her, I said, you didn't find that was fun? You know, what'd you think, Megan? She was like, I guess I'm just wondering what it feels like to have an entire room full of people that you pay laugh at everything you say.
Oh, shit. Damn. You said that, Megan?
Yes.
Good for you. That was probably like her first year, right?
By the way, she's laughing over, for the listener at home, she's laughing and...
Oh my God!
I just remember.
And I remember you would be like, "Can we fire her? We got to fire. We got to fire this girl." Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I imagine.
I just think they said "girl" too. I was like, "Get this girl out of here!"
Right. Get this
I know she's a girl. She's a 29-year-old, 30-year-old girl.
Yeah.
No, but I definitely remember like laughing, of course, and then really thinking about that quite a bit because it's exactly what you're talking about, which is if you continue to. Mm-hmm. Surround yourself with people, A, who you hire, right? Or B, who just like say yes or laugh at everything you say, then of course, slowly but surely, you're going to turn into that person that thinks that everything they say is funny.
That's right.
And if you don't surround yourself with people who check you and tell you, hey, man, that's not funny, it shouldn't go on the show, then your shit's going to suffer.
That's right.
I will argue, though, with Danny specifically, everything he says is fucking funny. Like, but like,
you got to learn to speak his language.
Not necessarily what he's saying is funny, but he has an essence. Because I remember, you know, in that first season, for us, it was a little confusing to be like, oh well, you know, he's jumbling some of these lines in a way that like the line doesn't make as much sense when he does it in that order, and we can't necessarily like. And it, you know, it wasn't so egregious that like we weren't getting through a scene, but be like, oh, he's kind of switching that line up, and it's not as funny. But like you watch it and you go back and you watch those episodes, it doesn't matter what he's saying or in what order.
Right.
Like his spirit, his essence, his attitude is so amusing.
Sometimes the jumbled up, messed up version of the line ends up being funnier than the line itself.
Yeah. this is a moment of appreciation for Danny DeVito doing the show, because that star quality thing, and Danny's not like a star. He's a superstar. He's a mega superstar. He's iconic. People love him. The fact that this guy came onto the show,
I still don't know
crazy.
why. I still don't know why he
it's
did
crazy.
I was having that like experience watching and listening to the episode this morning, being like, he completely transformed this thing, and I don't think there is a show without him, man. Like,
No,
Oh
definitely not.
my God, like,
No, there is no show without him, for
anyway,
sure.
that's my appreciation moment for this guy.
Well, so I had a question for you guys that's kind of related to this episode. Have either of you ever pretended to be something that you are not in order to get something that you want, like in a major way, like these characters?
Every day of my life.
Well, I was going to say besides pretending to be a showrunner.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I did used to dress up. My friend's dad had a one of those airplane landing lights, like it's like that cone light.
Cool.
And we found it in his basement, and he had like a orange like work coat too down there. Mm-hmm. So I did used to.
Rob's laughing. Why are you laughing?
I was just thinking about, we went down to the airfield and we were taking planes down into the lakes.
No, we
man.
didn't do that, but we did go into an intersection and direct traffic.
Oh, that's
shit,
amazing.
that's really
yeah,
fun.
Yeah. So my friends,
That's a good bit.
My friends were hiding in the bush with a walkie-talkie, and I had the walkie-talkie in the airplane thing. So the car would come up, and they would go on the walkie-talkie like, yeah, I'll tell. Shit's hit the fan down there, man. You can't go down that street. I'm like 14 years old.
How old?
14. I'm like, you can't go down that street. You're gonna have to take a left here on Vernon, and you're gonna want to head down to Federer. You can take it right there. Yeah, 106. And like,
That's amazing.
basically, we would get like 5 or 6 cars until someone would be like, "What is this? What are you
Right,
doing?"
because-
and then we would get chased.
That's a funny thing. That's a funny
the goal
thing. It's
is
like-
to get chased.
Do you, as a driver, approach someone with a walkie-talkie and one of those things?
A vest and a light.
And a vest and the light
it's
and the whole
nighttime.
thing. And the guy's trying to give you, tell you where to go with the light and doing the whole thing, but you're like, but he looks like he's 14 years old. This can't be right. Like,
And
is that,
there's no sign of work or trouble or anything,
But do you do it?
There's
do you
a
do what
man
the
in the
14-year-old says?
80% of people do.
I bet. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
of
know
course.
now.
And 20% of them chase you through the woods, which was the ultimate goal.
I don't know if this falls into the same category of what you asked, but it falls into the category of what Charlie just, the story he told. But I was like 16 or 17, maybe younger. And I used to play this game, which was so cruel and terrible, that we called Dead Guys. And it was, we would be at the Jersey Shore, and you'd wait till like sunset. And then you knew that people were just sort of like walking down the beach, and so we would just roll in the surf as if we were dead, like a dead body. And so you could breathe, but you'd just kind of like flop around, and then the waves would like come up and crash you, and then people wouldn't know what was going on, but they saw, and they would be watching like, what's happening?
Did you kind of have your eyes open a little bit?
Just
so
a little
you could
bit, just to
see-
get the reaction. But
Right,
then there'd
'cause
be other, and then they'd come running over, like, "Are you okay?" And then you just get up and run away. And the last time we did it, I was doing it with a friend of mine, Dennis Hogan, and it was a group of guys, like probably in their 20s, and they were like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And we were like, "Yeah!" And we ran into the water. And then we were like laughing and joking, and then we looked, and they were standing on the beach, and they were just waiting. And we were like, "Hey," and they were like, "Come on out, boys." And we were like, "Oh no, it was just a joke." And they were like, "Yeah, well, it wasn't funny to us. We'll be here for you." And we were like, "These guys are gonna kick our ass," which
they're
they
gonna
should,
hammer you.
which they absolutely should. And so we were like, "What the fuck do we do?" So we tried to swim like up and down the beach, but you can walk a lot faster than someone can swim. So they would just walk with us, and we just waited in the water for 3 hours until finally they left, and then we walked away in shame and never did it again.
Oh my God! Wow. Last time I played Dead Guy, I almost killed myself. So.
Well, we
that's
covered
true.
that.
We covered that one.
Yeah.
I did a similar thing with my buddies, like right when I got my driver's license. I guess I was 16, and all my friends were younger, and we would drive around doing bad things. But I would pull up at an intersection and I would pretend to pass out on the horn. So my head would be on the horn. Like, and my friends would be panicking, like trying to revive me. And the people, like, because we want to see the reaction of the people in the car next to us. Yeah. And they'd be looking over. Most people didn't do anything. Occasionally someone rolled down the window and be like, "Are you okay?" And then we just like laugh and speed out of there.
Just to be a dumb,
just to be a dumb
just
young
to get a
idiot.
little laugh, just to get a little rise out of life, you know? It's harmless shit.
That made me think of a really stupid prank that I used to play. Okay, so when I first moved to LA, my parents had, thankfully, they hung on to my high school my car that I got my senior year. It was a 1990 Acura Legend, pretty sweet, and this car had one of those giant brick, car phones in it, those old school car phones from like the early 90s. Mm-hmm. So I had to go pick up my car in Montgomery, Alabama, and drive it out to LA, which is like a 3-day trip. I mean, you can do it in less, but I didn't want to kill myself. So this giant, so I never took that giant brick phone out of the car because I just thought it was so funny. So I'd be driving down the freeway, and just in order to keep myself amused and awake, I would do this thing where I would be driving with my knees, and I would have I would have the giant brick phone, which, by the way, at that point would have been a 15-year-old phone. Like, we had Nokias and shit like that, so it looked ridiculous. So I would pull up next to somebody on the freeway. I'd have this giant brick phone in my hand, and with the other hand, I'd be gesturing wildly, having a very furious conversation with someone on this giant brick phone, not paying attention to the road at all, completely not using my hands. And I still to this day don't know if anybody actually ever noticed that I was doing it, but I sure got a kick out of it. I thought it was funny.
I'm hearing 3 stories of young men who are desperate for attention.
Oh,
just
definitely.
Desperate for anybody to pay attention to
I was
them.
doing a bit. I was doing an acting bit.
Yeah,
you just want people to
they were
pay
all
attention,
acting
man.
bits.
Yeah, all stupid
Look
bits.
at me.
Yeah, look at
Mom,
me. Mm-hmm.
Dad,
Yeah.
Well,
whatever.
or look at me, friends. So,
Friends.
like, for me, it was all about my group of friends. Like, let me make them laugh.
I didn't even have anybody with me when I was doing this stupid fucking prank.
that's
Like, this was
interesting.
purely for my own amusement.
hoping someone will watch.
I stand by it. I think it's a funny bit. I think if you look over and you see some guy with a giant brick phone and he's gesturing wildly with both of his hands, I think that's funny to me.
I think that's a good bit too.
Thanks, man.
I like that.
I appreciate it.
That's bit approved in my book.
Boy, I also listened to the first 2 Harry Potter books on that trip. So, guys, well, it was a long trip, wasn't it? Where were you guys? Do you remember where were you when season 2 got picked up and you found out the news? And what were your feelings about it? What? How did it make you feel? What did you think? Where were you when you got the news? And how did you feel?
I don't recall.
Well, I know where I was. I know exactly where I was when Danny signed on to do the show.
Okay.
Because it was minutes after I left his house. He called John and John called me. And I was like almost like on his street still. And then I called you guys like immediately. So I think that was why we got picked up, right? So as soon as he signed on, that was sort of it. And then,
it wasn't official yet, but at that point you knew. It was like that was what was required of us.
Yes.
To get somebody who could bring eyeballs to the show.
Yeah.
On the show, and we got someone way better than we ever in a million years could have thought we would have got.
And he probably got maybe 15 to 25 more eyeballs on the show.
He did. Yeah,
2.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe 30 more eyeballs. Sure. Which is 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people. 15 people, 30 eyeballs.
Do you guys remember how much of a hard time we had cutting that final car crash where you guys drive truck?
Yes, totally.
Because we didn't have a stunt team. But watching
It's
it,
so janky.
I like it.
I was just so excited to feel like, the show, I can see how the show took off from here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean we got it right every time, but it feels like, this feels like Sunny. And it also made me excited about this podcast because I think that first season of the podcast is a little rocky, but I think this is going to be the episode where we really find our way. Although, the first season's finale, where Mr. Steven Spielberg came.
Well, that was just a huge get.
That was a huge
That was a
get.
big get for us. Yeah, because
I mean, that was a Danny DeVito level get.
Yeah.
We got him in season 1. I mean, that's pretty cool. I have a feeling he's going to come back. I think he told me later he had a good time. He said he had a good time. Well, guys, what else?
I know, pretty good podcast.
Pretty
maybe.
good podcast.
Feel like
Yeah.
maybe
Should we talk
did-
about how good the podcast was?
No, definitely
Should
not.
that be a segment where we? No.
Oh, God, no.
Well, right now we're shooting season 15 of the show, and
15.
wow.
Monumental.
But I do think there was something good about coming in and doing a podcast before we go film.
Yeah.
Because I will say that oftentimes, like when we go to write or whatever, this is a time where we joke around, we talk, I feel like we communicate best. Nice. We're not tired yet, we're not old and grumpy and tired.
Right. We got our cold brew coffees.
We got our coffee in us, and we're looking forward to the potential of the day. Is that what it is?
I would say
I'd say it's the
that it
caffeine.
might be, for me, that I've now used all of my energy for the podcast and have absolutely nothing left for the filming of the show. But it
Okay.
doesn't matter because I get paid either way.
Well, this will
I'm pay
be
or
fun.
play.
This will be fun for the viewer. Then, after you listen to this podcast,
Yeah.
go and watch The Gang Replaces D with a Monkey, because that's what we're watching. That's what we're about to shoot.
And see if Glenn seems a little low energy.
See if he seems a little bit low energy.
You know what? I'll bring it.
I think you'll be
force it.
fine.
I'll force
I
it.
think you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I could fake it real good now. I've figured out how to do that. I honestly have not been present as an actor on this show for many, many years.
Have you been present as a human within your body and your thoughts ever?
There were a couple times where I did mushrooms.
And then you're like, okay,
I was like, oh,
Here it is.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah,
And then, but the rest of the time, it's like you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, but you're already thinking about like what's for dinner and like.
I think you'll be very, very good in today's scenes because it's it's a lot of like just us in the bar.
Oh boy, we have a lot of dialogue today, guys. There's a lot of talkie.
We do, but
a lot of talkie.
It's not talkie and walkie, so like we'll it's real simple stuff. We'll
No walkie and
No,
talkie.
you don't have to walkie and talkie. No, not proppy. We're just kind of sitting talking. It's
Well, there's going to be an imaginary monkey in the room all day.
No, a real monkey.
no a real monkey, Rob.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. That's sort of a season 1 thing.
Well, guys, this has been fun. I'll see you on set.
Rob, did you work out this morning?
No, I had some crazy dreams. I was up all night from about 2 to about 4:30, and then I fell back asleep.
What were you dreaming
I fell
about?
back asleep.
Were you dreaming about
It was
me?
it was dark stuff. Dark stuff. Not for this podcast.
Were you dreaming
for
you
different
had
podcast.
COVID?
No.
Did you kill anybody? Did you kill me?
No, I have a recurring nightmare that's in that space. Not you.
But where you kill, you murder.
Well, yeah, it's happened in the past. But there's no
You're
violence
living with it.
Is
You're
that
living-
I think is that like imposter syndrome, like to the max, where you're like, okay, I'm a fraud and I'm getting away with something I shouldn't be getting away with,
I think
and
it's
I'm
all-
going to get called out on.
I think it's feeling.
I
It's
think so.
definitely feeling guilty about having done something to someone in the past, and trying to forget about it, but not being able to live with.
You think
yourself.
it's that?
In my own research with therapists over the years, it's actually been the former, where it's been
Jolly,
the
it's
suggestion,
good
since there's no
point
actual
that they-
violence that happens,
Yeah.
and that there is no like actual victim. It's just someone that I've killed, and the story that's being told is that the cops are after me, and there's a cop, one in particular, who's like, I know it was you, and I'm gonna.
Well, but that's what I'm talking about. You murdered. I don't mean that you.
Did you say
actually.
a cop woman?
No, but
I was like, that's so interesting.
That would
be
make it
really interesting.
No, stop it. Stop it.
But I think there's a fear that you're going to lose it all, right? Like if you're going to be arrested, you're going to lose it all. So probably in your life, you've accomplished these things. You have this wonderful family.
That's
and
what you did. You murdered your career,
and you have this great career, and you have this underlying fear. Well, I'm just who am I? I'm not a writer. I'm not an actor. I'm just Rob. So like, I'm a big phony, and it could all be taken away from me. I am here as your friend to tell you that is true. And the sooner you accept that and just let it go and be like, yeah, I'm a big fraud, but so is everyone else. Just ask Steven. Steven doesn't know what he's doing. Each movie is potential disaster. Steven, who just stepped in the room.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What are we talking about?
Well, Rob has imposter syndrome, and I say, don't fight it and say, oh, I'm a great creator. That's bullshit. Be like, yeah, I'm a fraud. So what? So everyone's a fraud.
Take it till you make it, baby. Nobody is what they are until they do what they do. And then once you do it, then you are what you are, whether you are or aren't. Basically what I'm saying is that nobody, like you said, nobody really knows what they're doing, so you just have to do it. You just have to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And you gotta be decisive. That's the thing that you run into a lot of times with the directors where it doesn't work. You
gotta be decisive.
You have to be decisive, whether you're right or wrong, doesn't matter. You have to be
right, because you're gonna
decisive.
get down to set, the shark's not gonna work, and then you gotta make choices, right?
You gotta figure it out.
Like you could be planning on seeing that shark a lot. Suddenly you're like, you know what? We're gonna have to make this where you don't see the shark a lot. And then that's a lucky thing, because then suddenly you're like, this movie's better because I'm not seeing the shark as much as I'm supposed to see in the first place. So shut up about your dreams, Rob.
I see you guys.
Yeah, see you, Steve.
This has been fun. All right.
Anyway,
see you on set.
Yeah, we'll see you on set.
See you on set.